Thank you for tuning into my channel. Yes, I'm back. Today I'm showing you a very easy look to rock for Valentine's Day. You don't have to do it for Valentine's Day. You can rock this look whenever you want. I just thought it's got a lot of pinks, shimmer, glitter. Some of you won't rock that every day, and so you kind of need an excuse to rock it. I got you. So you can do this Valentine's Day inspired look. Also, it's very, very easy. So if you're new to doing makeup, you're going to really love this. Here we go. So I've already primed my eye. I just used a concealer. You can use whatever concealer you want. I used a ColourPop concealer, and I just put that all over my eye. And then as you can see, I put a little piece of tape because I kind of like the defined line that you see. So I just like that. That's a personal preference. You can use it with or without the tape. Also, the colors that I'm using have a little bit of fallout. So I'm doing my eyes first, and then I'll do my face makeup. If you normally do your face makeup first, I would definitely recommend putting some setting powder like underneath. That way, when you get the glitter or the shadows like kind of fall out, it's easy to wipe them off. All right, makes sense? All right, here we go. So I'm going into the much talked about Amrezy palette. So for today, I'm going to use Simsa, I'm going to use Cupcake, and I'm going to use Barb. And I'm going to start on this outer part right here and just kind of pat it on. And by the way, I'm using the same brush that comes with the palette, that comes with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I'm just going to use that same brush to show you how easy this is going to be. So I'm just patting that on the end, just to kind of really disperse most of that product right there on the end. And I'm going to dip my brush back in. And you just want to follow your natural crease curve. So you're just kind of taking it around, and you can feel that indentation right there when you take it around of where your crease curve is. So I just take it around there, and I'm just going to pretty much pack this, lightly pack it all over my eyelid space. So just pack that all over. So as you can see, you don't have to be like super precise right now, other than just kind of keeping it on your crease and not putting it below your brow. And then I'm going to pick up more and just pack a little bit more on that outer part. Now I'm going to take the other side of the brush. It's kind of like just a small flat tip. So I'm going to dip that into Cupcake. I honestly don't mind fallout with shadows, but I still kind of tap the brush off just to make sure I don't get drenched in the shadow, especially with kind of the shimmer glittery colors. These colors are so beautiful. I'm telling you, if you only like have enough money to get one palette this year, I know it's the beginning of the year, but it's going to be tough to beat this palette. This palette's pretty good. I'm telling you, between this palette and the other Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Jackie Aina palette, those two are probably the only palettes you need in your life. Seriously, like they are both so amazing. Now we're going to turn the brush around to the other side, dip back into Simsa again. I hope I'm saying that right. And then what you're going to do is just kind of lightly brush over the Cupcake glitter part, just to make sure everything like seamlessly flows between this color and this color. So then I'm going to wipe off my brush again, and this time I'm going into Barb. And this color Barb just really, look what that did. Just gave me like a nice little sparkle. It seriously works over any color. It just gives you that nice kind of glowy, shimmery glitter look without like the chunky glitter mess. You know what I mean? So it's just perfect. And look at that. Look how pretty that turned out. Now I'm going to go right back into the darker color, and just make sure everything's nice and even and everything flows. Oh yeah, that is too pretty. All right, so I'm gonna wipe my brush off again, the smaller side. And oh, I forgot to tell you, underneath my brow, I'm gonna use Wasted, and that's this color right here. So I'm gonna take that and put that right underneath my brow bone. And then what I like to do is kind of take my finger to kind of blend it. Seriously, your fingers are your best tool. And then I go back into Simsa and just kind of go along the edges there. And I'm just kind of like going back and forth, kind of pressing, but moving the brush back and forth just to kind of blend everything together. So next I'm going to apply lashes. I'm going to do that off camera, but I also kind of wanted to tell you what I normally do. So I take the lash glue. I'm a little different. I take the lash glue and I apply it right along my lash line. Like I get it as close to my lash line as I can. And I apply it as if like you apply liquid liner. So I take it and apply that all along right there. And then that way I can take the lash and just put it right on there and it gets it perfect every single time. Now I like using the Duo lash glue, and they actually do make that with the applicator where you can pull it out and it looks like a liner. I didn't get that this time because when I tried to order it the last time they were out of it. I usually get it on Amazon. But I ordered this, it's called Super Stronghold Eyelash Adhesive, and it's in black. It's by Eye Envy. And this is what it looks like. So it has the applicator, like really thin. I'll show you. So you can apply it just like you would eyeliner. So I promise you, if you do that, apply it just right along, right, get it super close to your lash line, it will be perfect every time. And this one, I really don't need to wait till it dries very long. It dries very fast. By the time I finish applying the liner, I pretty much just take my lash out and then just put it over there. And then I sometimes follow it up with a black eyeliner just to kind of go over it, just to kind of make sure nothing shows, like the line doesn't show and it just looks smooth. So I'm going to do that off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so the eyes are done, at least most of it. We'll come back and finish the under eye. I'm going to move into the face. I'm using a primer. This is the Fenty Beauty primer that I'm using. And so I'm just going to put that all over my face. And the foundation that I've been using, I'm about to switch foundations and try some different ones, but lately I've been using the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. And I just like applying this with a brush. This foundation is so good. It's such a good medium coverage foundation, but you can apply as much as you want to make it a little more full coverage. But this is basically the coverage that I have right now. I just did like a couple of pumps onto my brush. So as you can see, that did the job pretty good. So the concealer that I've been loving lately is the Pretty Fresh Concealer by ColourPop. And I really like this concealer. The number that I'm using is Dark 158W. And everything that I'm using, I will try to list in the description box. If I forget anything, just ask me a question and I'm really good about responding. So I'm just gonna put that right underneath. Just like that. That's what I like to do, is like those 3 little dashes right there. And then I like to go here. And then also my nose. Just like that. And then for my concealer, I like to take a brush You can use a beauty sponge if you like, but I have been loving using the brush lately. And you can just really get all up under there. And when I get to the end, I like to kind of fan it like that. And with your concealer, you want to be careful that you don't apply too much, especially if you are over 40. You don't want to take your concealer and do globs of it under your eye. That's gonna be a disaster waiting to happen later. Which is another reason why I like to take the brush, because I really feel like I can control it and disperse it like very well. I also have a video on how to apply concealer if you're over 40 on my Instagram. I have it on my Instagram under my IGTV. So if you're interested in seeing that, just go to my Instagram, Wrinkle Beauty, and I have a nice detailed IGTV video. Okay, after I've done that, I go back and I take my foundation brush and I just make sure that there's no harsh lines. So I just kind of go over the ends there, and I even like take it around here. Just to make sure there's no harsh lines. And then after that, I apply a setting powder. But before I do that, I wipe my brush off that I applied the concealer. I go back just to make sure there's no creasing. Everything looks good. And the setting powder that I'm using is Fenty Beauty, and I'm using the one in Cashew. So if you know their powder, it's a loose setting powder. So I'm basically taking it on my brush and then tapping the excess into the cup. So, and then I take it and press it with my brush. Or you could do this same technique with your beauty sponge. So I just like to kind of take it and press it just like that. So look how flawless that makes the under eye, just by using that concealer and the setting powder. So now I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take MAC Cosmetics Studio Fix, and I'm gonna take a Kat Von D powder brush and just use that everywhere else on my face, just to set my foundation and everything else. Ooh, I think that looks really nice. So now to contour, I'm using Fenty Beauty bronzer. It's the Sunstalker bronzer, and I use Mocha Mami is my color. And I seriously love this bronzer. I love it, love it, love it. It's my favorite. What I do is take it on a brush, and I go right there, kind of along my cheekbones, right there, and I just kind of curve. I do a little curving motion just like that. And then I brush up. So as you can see, look how bronzed that looks. And then look at that side, right? So bronzer makes a huge difference, especially, you know, if you kind of like to contour like I do. And then I also take it and just kind of bring it around my forehead as well. And then I take underneath, right there along my jawline. Look what a difference bronzer makes. It makes a huge difference. I just love it so much. All right, now I'm going to go into my blush. I'm using a MAC blush. It's called Let's Be Friends. It's a nice pink blush. And I just kind of like to stipple it like that at first. And then I take it and do little circle motions. But for me, I like a lot of blush. If you don't really like blush, you could probably skip this step, but I like a lot of blush, as you can see. Yeah, I just love blush. All right, so let's go back and finish the under eye. So I'm gonna go back to that same color, the main color that we use, that's Simsa. And I'm gonna take just kind of a pointy brush and put that right along my lash line. This color is so pretty. You can just really wear it by itself. It's so pretty. And I basically kind of meet it up with the end right there, so they just kind of connect. Okay, now I'm gonna go into, oh, I didn't bring the right brush to the table. Okay, I'm gonna use the same brush and wiping it off just a little bit. And I'm going into Barb. I usually like to take a smaller brush for this, but I didn't bring that in with me, and so I'm just gonna use this one. So I'm just going right there in that inner corner. Look how pretty that is. I love that. All right, so now I'm gonna go and apply mascara, and then we'll be ready for highlight and lip gloss. Okay, so to finish up with highlight, I am using Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. This is a really good highlighter and very, very affordable. And this one's super pigmented, so you have to kind of be careful. And I'm gonna take that and just put that on the highest points right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love a good highlight. I like to take some on my finger, just like that, and just kind of go down my nose, just a little bit. So see how that gave it just kind of a little something? Oh, I love that. So now I'm all highlighted up. And I like to take my blush brush afterwards and just kind of go over it. Just a stickler with everything kind of like flowing seamlessly and you don't see like super harsh lines. So now I'm going into lip gloss, and I'm going to use an Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss, and this one is called Grape Jelly. I am in love with this lip gloss. It's such a bright pink, actually more pink fuchsia, I guess. But I think one of the main reasons that I love it is because, as you can see, I haven't even used a lip liner. You don't need to use a lip liner with it. Oh, look how dark and gorgeous that is. I love a lip gloss that has a lot of pigment to it. And this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you next time.